still alone, I see. Meanwhile, I'm starting a real family this year, Derek laughed, his arm around his new girlfriend at the New Year's party. Carmen just smiled mysteriously. 10, 9, 8. Everyone counted. At midnight, the door burst open. 3 identical children ran through the crowd. "Mommy! Happy New Year!" They jumped into Carmen's arms with huge smiles. Derek's champagne glass dropped. The triplets turned around excitedly. They had his eyes, his smile, his dimples. His girlfriend looked at them, then at Derek. "You told me she was infertile, but before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what times it is. Now, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started." "Mommy, Mason took my blanket again." Carmen Rodriguez opened her eyes. The bedroom was still dark. She looked at the clock on the nightstand. 5 o'clock in the morning. She had 30 minutes before her alarm was supposed to ring. "Mason, give your sister her blanket," Carmen said quietly. She heard rustling from the other bed. 3 small bodies moved under the covers. Carmen turned on the lamp. Soft light filled the small bedroom. Her 3 children lay in one big bed pushed against the wall. Mason was on the left. Liam was in the middle. Sophia was on the right. Mason held a pink blanket in his hands. He was 4 years old, with messy brown hair and green eyes. He looked at his mother and smiled. He had dimples on both cheeks. "But it's soft, Mommy," Mason said. "It's mine," Sophia said. She was also 4 years old. She had the same brown hair and green eyes as her brothers. She reached across Liam and grabbed the blanket. Liam, the quiet one, pulled the covers over his head. "Too loud," he whispered. Carmen stood up. She wore gray sweatpants and an old college shirt. She walked to the window and opened the curtains. It was still dark outside. December in Phoenix, Arizona was cold in the mornings. "Time to get up," Carmen said. "We have a big day today." "Is it New Year's Eve?" Sophia asked. "Yes, baby. Tonight is the party at Grandma's house." "Will there be cake?" Mason asked. Carmen smiled. "Yes, there will be cake." She helped the children out of bed. They followed her to the bathroom. She turned on the warm water in the sink. She washed their faces, one by one. Mason complained the water was too hot. Sophia complained it was too cold. Liam said nothing. He never complained. Carmen looked at her children in the bathroom mirror. All 3 had the same green eyes, the same dimples, the same smile. They looked exactly like their father. Derek Walker. Carmen felt a familiar tightness in her chest. She pushed the thought away. Today was not the day to think about him. She took the children to the kitchen. Their house was small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. A kitchen that connected to the living room. But it was clean. It was safe. It was theirs. Carmen opened the refrigerator. She took out eggs, bread, and a carton of orange juice. She cracked 6 eggs into a bowl. She whisked them with a fork. She poured them into a hot pan. "Can I help?" Sophia asked. "You can get the plates," Carmen said. Sophia dragged a chair to the cabinet. She climbed up carefully. She took down 4 plates. Carmen watched to make sure she did not fall. Mason and Liam sat at the small kitchen table. Mason was making his toy dinosaur walk across the table. Liam was drawing on a piece of paper with a blue crayon. "What are you drawing?" Carmen asked. "A house," Liam said, "with a big tree. It's beautiful." Carmen put scrambled eggs and toast on each plate. She poured orange juice into 3 small cups. She gave the children their breakfast. She sat down with her own plate. They ate together. Mason talked the whole time. He asked questions about dinosaurs. He asked questions about the party. He asked questions about everything. Sophia ate quickly. She wanted to go play. Liam ate slowly. He was always the last one finished. After breakfast, Carmen cleaned the dishes. She took the children back to the bedroom. She dressed them in warm clothes, jeans, long-sleeve shirts, jackets. It was cold outside today. Carmen got dressed in the bathroom. She put on black pants and a blue sweater. She pulled her long brown hair into a ponytail. She did not wear makeup. She did not have time. At 6:30 in the morning, Carmen loaded the children into her car. It was a used Honda Civic, 10 years old. The paint was faded, but it worked. She drove through the quiet streets of Phoenix. The sun was starting to rise. The sky turned from black to dark blue to orange. Mason pointed at the sky. "Pretty," he said. "Yes, it is," Carmen agreed. She pulled into the parking lot of Little Stars Preschool at 7 o'clock. It was a small building with a playground in the back. Carmen unbuckled the children from their car seats. She held their hands as they walked to the front door. A woman with white hair opened the door. Her name was Miss Annie. She was the teacher. She smiled when she saw the triplets. "Good morning, Mason, Liam, Sophia," Miss Annie said. "Good morning," Mason yelled. Liam waved quietly. Sophia ran inside without saying anything. Carmen knelt down. She hugged each child. "Be good today. I will pick you up this afternoon." "Okay, Mommy," Liam said. Mason was already running toward the toys. Sophia followed him. Carmen watched them for a moment. Then she stood up. "They're wonderful children," Miss Annie said. "Thank you," Carmen said. "They're my whole world." Carmen drove to Lincoln Elementary School. It was 20 minutes away. She arrived at 7:30. The parking lot was almost empty. She was always one of the first teachers to arrive. She unlocked her classroom. Room 12, 3rd grade. The walls were covered with student artwork and alphabet posters. 25 desks filled the room. Carmen turned on the lights. She wrote the day's schedule on the whiteboard. Students started arriving at 8 o'clock. They came in talking and laughing. They hung their backpacks on hooks. They sat at their desks. "Good morning, everyone," Carmen said. "Good morning, Mrs. Rodriguez," the students said together. Carmen loved teaching. She loved seeing children learn. She loved their questions, their curiosity, their joy. She taught them reading and math. She taught them to be kind. She taught them to work hard. At lunchtime, Carmen ate at her desk. She graded papers. She planned tomorrow's lessons. She never took a full break. There was too much to do. At 2 o'clock, the principal knocked on Carmen's door. Her name was Mrs. Henderson. She was a woman in her 60s with gray hair and kind eyes. "Carmen, do you have a minute?" Mrs. Henderson asked. "Of course." Mrs. Henderson stepped into the classroom. The students were working on a math worksheet. The room was quiet. "I wanted to tell you that you're doing an excellent job," Mrs. Henderson said. "Your students are learning so much. Their test scores are some of the highest in the school." Carmen felt her face get warm. "Thank you. I work very hard." "I know you do. I also know you're raising 3 children by yourself. That takes incredible strength." Carmen nodded. She did not trust herself to speak. If she spoke, she might cry. "You're an inspiration," Mrs. Henderson continued. "I hope you know that." "Thank you," Carmen whispered. Mrs. Henderson left. Carmen took a deep breath. She looked at her students. They were bent over their papers, pencils moving, focused. She thought about her own children. In a few hours, she would see them. She would hold them. That was what kept her going every day. At 3 o'clock, Carmen dismissed her students. She cleaned her classroom. She packed her bag. She drove back to Little Stars Preschool. Mason, Liam, and Sophia were waiting by the door with Miss Annie. When they saw Carmen's car, they ran outside. Carmen opened the back door, and they climbed in. "How was your day?" Carmen asked. "I built a tower," Mason said. "I drew a picture of a cat," Liam said. "I played kitchen," Sophia said. "Sounds like a good day," Carmen said. She did not drive home. Instead, she drove to Mesa Park. It was a small park with swings and slides. The afternoon was warm. The sun was bright. The children ran to the playground. Mason climbed on everything: the jungle gym, the ladder, the slide. Liam sat on a bench with his notebook. He drew pictures of the trees. Sophia followed Mason. She wanted to do everything he did. Carmen sat on a bench. She watched her children play. She felt tired. She was always tired. But she was also grateful. 3 years ago, she thought her life was over. She thought she could not do it alone. She thought she would fail. But she did not fail. She survived. She built a life. A good life. Carmen remembered the day Derek left. It was a Tuesday morning. 3 years ago. She was standing in their bedroom, watching him pack his clothes into a suitcase. "I can't do this anymore," Derek had said. "You're broken, Carmen. The doctors said you can't give me children. That's all I ever wanted. A family. Kids. You can't give me that." Carmen had stood frozen. The day before, she had gone to the doctor. The doctor told her she was 8 weeks pregnant. She was carrying triplets. 3 babies. She was going to tell Derek that night. But then Derek said, "This is your fault. You ruined our marriage. I deserve better." And Carmen closed her mouth. She let him walk away. She let him believe she was infertile. She decided he did not deserve to know the truth. "Mommy, watch me!" Mason yelled from the top of the slide. Carmen blinked. She was back in the present. She watched Mason slide down. He landed on his feet and raised his arms. "Did you see?" "I saw. You're so brave." After an hour at the park, Carmen loaded the children back into the car. She drove home. When she pulled into the driveway, she saw her mother's car already there. Maria Rodriguez was in the kitchen. She was 60 years old, with gray hair pulled into a bun. She wore an apron. The kitchen smelled like tamales and rice. "Mama, you didn't have to start cooking already," Carmen said. "I wanted to help," Maria said. She knelt down and hugged the triplets. "My babies! Are you excited for the party?" "Yes," all 3 children yelled. The front door opened. Carmen's brother Carlos walked in. He was 35 years old, tall, strong. He worked as a firefighter. He carried boxes of decorations. "Where do you want these?" Carlos asked. "Living room," Maria said. Carlos started hanging streamers and balloons. The children wanted to help. They handed him tape. They held balloons. The house slowly filled with color. At 6 o'clock, Carmen made dinner for the triplets: chicken nuggets and broccoli. They ate at the table. Then Carmen took them upstairs. She gave them a bath. She dressed them in clean pajamas. The pajamas were blue, with stars on them. "Can we stay up for the party?" Mason asked. "We'll see," Carmen said. "First, you need to rest." She tucked them into bed. She read them a story. Their eyes grew heavy. One by one, they fell asleep. At 7 o'clock, the babysitter arrived. Her name was Rosa. She was a college student. She babysat for Carmen sometimes. Rosa went upstairs to sit in the children's room while they slept. Guests started arriving. Neighbors, friends from church, family members. The house filled with people. Music played. Everyone talked and laughed. Carmen changed into a simple black dress. She brushed her hair. She put on a little bit of makeup. She looked at herself in the mirror. She looked tired. But she was okay. At 9 o'clock, the front door opened. Carmen was in the kitchen pouring drinks. She heard a familiar voice, a voice she had not heard in 3 years. Derek Walker's voice. Carmen's hands froze. The cup she was holding slipped. It fell to the floor, but did not break. She walked to the living room. She pushed through the crowd. And there he was, Derek, standing in the doorway. He wore jeans and a leather jacket. His light brown hair was styled with gel. His green eyes scanned the room. Next to him stood a woman. She was blonde, pretty. She wore a red dress. Derek was laughing, talking, acting like he belonged here. Carlos walked over and shook Derek's hand. Carmen felt like she could not breathe. Derek turned his head. His eyes met Carmen's across the crowded room. They stared at each other. 3 years of silence. 3 years of secrets. 3 years of everything he did not know. Upstairs, 3 children slept. 3 children with his green eyes, his dimples, his face. Derek smiled at Carmen. It was a casual smile, like they were old friends. Carmen did not smile back. Carmen turned away first. She walked straight to the kitchen. Her heart was beating fast. Her hands were shaking. She put them on the counter and took a deep breath. Carlos followed her. He stood in the doorway. "Carmen, I can explain," Carlos said. Carmen turned around. Her eyes were hard. "Why is he here?" "I invited him. I thought." "You thought what?" Carmen's voice was quiet but sharp. "You thought I wanted to see him? You thought enough time had passed?" Carlos ran his hand through his hair. He looked uncomfortable. "He's not a bad guy, Carmen. He made a mistake. But it's been 3 years. I still play basketball with him every week. I thought maybe—" "You thought wrong," Carmen said. She pushed past him and went back to the living room. Derek was standing near the couch. He had a beer in his hand. The blonde woman stood next to him. She was smiling. Derek was talking to one of Carmen's neighbors. His voice was loud, confident. "Yeah, business is great," Derek said. "I'm selling luxury cars now. BMWs, Mercedes. The commission is insane. Just bought a house in Scottsdale, 4 bedrooms, pool in the back." The neighbor nodded politely. Derek kept talking. "This is Jessica, by the way," Derek said. He put his arm around the blonde woman. "My girlfriend." Jessica smiled. She had white teeth, red lipstick. She looked young, maybe 28 years old. "Nice to meet you," the neighbor said. "Nice to meet you too," Jessica said. Her voice was sweet, high-pitched. Carmen stood on the other side of the room. She watched Derek. He looked the same. Same green eyes, same dimples, same confident walk. Like nothing had changed. Like he had not destroyed her life 3 years ago. Maria came up beside Carmen. She touched her daughter's arm. "Mija, are you okay?" Maria whispered. "I'm fine, Mama," Carmen said. But she was not fine. She felt like the walls were closing in. Derek moved through the party like he belonged there. He shook hands with people. He told jokes. He laughed loud. People laughed with him. Some of them did not know what he had done. They did not know he had left Carmen. They thought he was just an old friend. Carmen went to the kitchen again. She needed space. She opened the refrigerator and took out a bottle of water. She drank half of it in one gulp. She heard footsteps. She turned around. It wasn't Carlos this time. It was Derek's girlfriend, Jessica. "Hi," Jessica said. She smiled. "You must be Carmen. Derek told me about you." Carmen did not smile back. "Did he?" "Yeah. He said you two used to be married. I'm sorry it didn't work out." Carmen stared at her. This woman had no idea. She had no idea about anything. "What else did he tell you?" Carmen asked. Jessica leaned against the counter. She seemed friendly, open. He said you had some problems, that you couldn't have kids. He said it was really hard on both of you, but especially on you. He said you got really sad and it just fell apart. Carmen felt anger rising in her chest, but she kept her face calm. Is that what he said? Yeah, it must have been so hard. I can't imagine. Jessica looked at Carmen with pity. But Derek's such a good guy. He tried so hard to make it work. He really did. Carmen wanted to scream. She wanted to tell this woman the truth. But she did not. Not yet. I'm glad he found you, Carmen said. Her voice was flat. Me too, Jessica said. She smiled again. We're really happy. Actually, we're planning to start trying for a baby this year. Derek's so excited. He's always wanted to be a dad. Carmen's hand tightened around the water bottle. The plastic cracked. She set it down on the counter. That's great, Carmen said. Jessica kept talking. I think he'll be an amazing father. He's so kind, so patient. I feel really lucky. Carmen could not listen anymore. She walked out of the kitchen. She went upstairs. She needed to see her children. She opened the bedroom door quietly. The room was dark, except for a small nightlight. Rosa sat in a chair by the window, reading a book. She looked up when Carmen entered. Everything okay? Rosa whispered. Yes, I just wanted to check on them. Carmen walked to the bed. Mason was sprawled out on his back. His mouth was open. Liam was curled up on his side. Sophia was hugging her pink blanket. Carmen stood there, looking at them. 3 beautiful children. 3 children who did not know their father was downstairs. 3 children Derek had no idea existed. She felt her eyes fill with tears, but she did not let them fall. She blinked them away. She turned around and left the room. Downstairs, the party was getting louder. More people had arrived. Someone turned up the music. Derek was in the middle of the living room. He was telling a story. People were gathered around him listening. So this guy walks into the dealership, Derek said. He wants to buy a BMW, top of the line, but he's wearing old jeans and a dirty shirt. My coworker thinks he's wasting our time, but I talked to him anyway. Turns out the guy owns 3 restaurants. He pays cash, $65,000, just like that. People laughed. Derek grinned. That's why I'm the top seller 3 months in a row, Derek said. He took a drink of his beer. Carmen walked past the group. She did not look at Derek. She went to the kitchen and started helping Maria set out food. Tamales, rice, beans, salad. Carlos came over. He looked guilty. Carmen, I'm sorry. I should have asked you first. I just thought, it's fine, Carmen said. But her voice said it was not fine. The party continued. Carmen stayed busy. She refilled drinks. She cleaned up empty plates. She talked to guests. She smiled. She pretended everything was normal. At 10 o'clock, Derek found Carmen's uncle Roberto. Roberto was 70 years old. He had known Derek when Derek and Carmen were married. Roberto liked Derek back then. He thought Derek was a good man. Derek, good to see you, Roberto said. He shook Derek's hand. Good to see you too, Roberto. How's your back? Better. The doctor gave me new medicine. They talked for a few minutes. Then Roberto asked, So what have you been up to? Still married to my niece? Derek's smile faded a little. Oh no, Carmen and I got divorced 3 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Derek shrugged. Yeah, it was hard. But sometimes things just don't work out. We wanted different things. Roberto nodded. He did not know the whole story. Carmen's a good woman, though, Roberto said. I hope she finds someone good. Yeah, me too, Derek said. I feel bad for her, actually. She's still single, still alone. That must be tough. Carmen heard this. She was standing a few feet away. She felt her jaw tighten. Derek kept talking. But I've moved on. I'm with Jessica now. She's great. We're really happy. We're even talking about starting a family. Roberto smiled. That's wonderful. Children are a blessing. I know. I can't wait. I've always wanted to be a father. It's finally going to happen. Jessica walked over and took Derek's hand. Are you bragging again? She teased. Derek laughed. Maybe a little. Jessica looked at Roberto. He's very excited about being a dad. He talks about it all the time. It's going to change our whole lives, Derek said. He kissed Jessica's cheek, but in the best way. Carmen could not stand there anymore. She walked to the front door. She stepped outside onto the porch. The air was cold. She wrapped her arms around herself. She stood there for 5 minutes, just breathing, trying to calm down. The door opened behind her. She thought it was her mother, but it was not. It was Derek. He stood next to her. He looked out at the street. Nice night, he said. Carmen said nothing. It's good to see you, Carmen, Derek said. It's been a long time. Yes, it has. You look good. Different. But good. Carmen finally looked at him. What do you want, Derek? Derek seemed surprised by her tone. I just wanted to say hi. See how you're doing. I'm fine. Are you? Because Carlos said you're still living in the same house, still teaching, still alone. Carmen felt her anger spike. I'm not alone. Derek looked at her. His eyes scanned her face. You're not seeing anyone? That's none of your business. Derek held up his hands. Okay. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to upset you. They stood in silence. Then Derek spoke again. His voice was softer, almost sad. You look tired, Carmen. Being alone must be hard. Carmen turned to face him fully. She looked into his green eyes, the same eyes her children had. I'm not alone, she said quietly. I have everything I need. Derek looked confused. He laughed a little. What does that mean? Carmen did not answer. She walked past him and went back inside the house. Derek stood on the porch alone. He did not understand. Inside, Carmen looked at the clock on the wall. It was 11 o'clock. 1 more hour until midnight. 1 more hour until the new year. 1 more hour until Derek's whole world changed. Carmen walked upstairs. She stood outside the children's bedroom door. She put her hand on the doorknob. Her heart was pounding. It was time. Carmen pushed the door open slowly. The hinges made a soft sound. Rosa looked up from her book. Is it time for the countdown already? Rosa whispered. Almost, Carmen said. I need a moment with them first. Rosa stood up. Do you want me to go downstairs? Not yet. Just give me a few minutes. Rosa nodded and stepped into the hallway. Carmen closed the door behind her. She was alone with her sleeping children. She sat on the edge of the bed. Mason stirred a little, but did not wake up. Liam's breathing was steady and quiet. Sophia's hand held tight to her pink blanket. Carmen looked at their faces in the dim light from the nightlight. She thought about everything that had led to this moment. 3 years ago. A Tuesday morning in December. That was the day Derek left. Carmen had woken up that morning feeling sick. She had been feeling sick for 2 weeks. Tired. Nauseous. She thought it was the flu, but her friend Lisa told her to take a pregnancy test. Carmen took the test on Monday morning. It was positive. She could not believe it. She took 3 more tests, all positive. She went to the doctor that same day. The doctor did an ultrasound. The doctor smiled and said, Congratulations, you're 8 weeks pregnant, and it looks like you're having triplets. Carmen sat in the exam room staring at the screen. 3 tiny shapes, 3 heartbeats, 3 babies. She cried, but they were happy tears. She had wanted children for so long. She and Derek had tried for a year. When it did not happen right away, Derek became impatient. He started blaming her. He said something was wrong with her, but there was nothing wrong with her. She was pregnant with 3 babies. Carmen drove home that Monday afternoon planning how to tell Derek. She would make his favorite dinner. She would show him the ultrasound pictures. He would be shocked, but then he would be happy. They would be a family. But when Carmen got home, Derek was packing a suitcase. "What are you doing?" Carmen asked. "I'm leaving," Derek said. He did not look at her. He just kept folding shirts and putting them in the suitcase. "Leaving? What do you mean? Where are you going?" "I'm leaving you, Carmen. I can't do this anymore." Carmen felt like the floor disappeared under her feet. "What are you talking about?" Derek finally looked at her. His face was hard, cold. "You're broken, Carmen. The doctor said you can't give me children. I've waited long enough. I want a family. You can't give me that." "But Derek, I deserve better than this," Derek said. He zipped up the suitcase. "I deserve a wife who can give me what I want. You're not that person." Carmen stood frozen. The ultrasound pictures were in her purse. The words were on her tongue. "I'm pregnant. We're having triplets." But then Derek said something that changed everything. "This is all your fault. Our marriage failed because of you. Because you're not enough. You never were." Carmen's mouth closed. The words died. She felt something inside her break. Not her heart. Something deeper. Derek picked up his suitcase. He walked past her. He stopped at the door. "My lawyer will send you divorce papers. Sign them. Make this easy." Then he left. The door closed behind him. Carmen stood in the empty bedroom. She put her hand on her stomach. She was 8 weeks pregnant with 3 babies, and she was completely alone. The next day, Derek's lawyer delivered the divorce papers. Carmen signed them. She did not tell Derek about the pregnancy. She decided he did not deserve to know. The months that followed were the hardest of Carmen's life. She had $800 in her bank account. That was all. She did not know how she would pay rent, how she would buy food, how she would afford doctor visits. She called her mother. Maria came over that same night. When Carmen told her about the babies, Maria cried. But they were not sad tears. They were fierce tears. "We will do this together," Maria said. "You and me. We will make it work." Maria quit her job at the grocery store the next week. She moved in with Carmen. She took care of Carmen when the morning sickness got bad. And it got very bad. Carmen could barely eat. Everything made her sick. She lost weight even though she was pregnant. The doctor said it was normal with triplets, but it was hard. So hard. Carlos found out about the pregnancy 2 weeks later. He came to the house and hugged Carmen for a long time. "Why didn't you tell Derek?" Carlos asked. "Because he doesn't deserve to know," Carmen said. "He left me. He said I was broken. He can live his life thinking I couldn't give him children, but I won't let him take this from me." Carlos did not argue. He just said, "What do you need?" "Money," Carmen said quietly. "I need money." Carlos worked extra shifts at the fire station. Every week he gave Carmen $300. He never asked for it back. He never complained. Carmen's friends from church found out she was pregnant. They threw her a baby shower. They brought 3 of everything: 3 car seats, 3 cribs, boxes of diapers, bags of baby clothes. Carmen cried when she saw all of it. "I can't pay you back," she said. "We don't want you to pay us back," her friend Lisa said. "We're family. This is what family does." The pregnancy was long. Carmen's body hurt all the time. Her back ached. Her feet swelled. She could not sleep. She worked at the school until her 8th month. Then her doctor said she had to stop. She was too big, too tired. On March 15th, Carmen went into labor. It was a cold night. Maria drove her to the hospital. Carlos met them there. The labor was 22 hours long. Carmen screamed. She cried. She thought she might die. But at 6 in the morning, the first baby was born. A boy. He had green eyes. He cried loud. "Mason," Carmen whispered. 10 minutes later, the second baby was born. Another boy. He was quieter, smaller. "Liam," Carmen said. 15 minutes after that, the third baby came. A girl. She was tiny but fierce. She cried louder than both her brothers. "Sophia!" The nurses cleaned the babies and put them in Carmen's arms, all three at once. Carmen looked at their faces and fell completely in love. Maria stood beside the bed crying. Carlos took pictures on his phone. "You did it, mija," Maria whispered. "You did it." The first 4 months were a blur. Carmen barely slept. She fed one baby, then another, then another. By the time she finished, the first one was hungry again. She changed diapers constantly. She cried from exhaustion. But she never gave up. She went back to work when the babies were 4 months old. Mrs. Henderson let Carmen bring the triplets to school sometimes. The other teachers helped watch them during lunch. Everyone at the school fell in love with Mason, Liam, and Sophia. As the babies grew into toddlers, life got a little easier. They started sleeping through the night. They learned to walk, to talk. They had personalities. Mason was wild and loud. He climbed everything. He never stopped asking questions. Liam was quiet and gentle. He loved books and drawing. He cried when people argued. Sophia was fearless. She wanted to do everything her brothers did. She refused to be left behind. Carmen loved them more than anything in the world. They were everything to her. And Derek knew nothing. He had no idea they existed. He moved to Scottsdale with his new life, his new girlfriend, his lies. Now, sitting on the edge of the bed, Carmen made her decision. She was done hiding. She was done protecting Derek. She was done letting him tell people she was broken. Tonight, everyone would see the truth. Carmen reached out and gently shook Mason's shoulder. "Mason, baby, wake up." Mason opened his green eyes. He looked confused. "Mommy? It's okay. I need you to wake up. You too, Liam, Sophia." She woke all three children. They rubbed their eyes. They were confused, but not upset. "Are we going to see the new year?" Sophia asked. "Yes, baby. We're going downstairs. Everyone wants to see you." "Will there be cake?" Mason asked. Carmen smiled. "Yes, there will be cake." She helped them out of bed. Their matching blue pajamas were soft and warm. She brushed their hair with her fingers. She looked at their faces one more time. Derek's green eyes. Derek's dimples. Derek's smile. There would be no question. Everyone would see it. Everyone would know. Carmen opened the door. Rosa was waiting in the hallway. "They're awake," Rosa said. "Is everything okay?" "Everything is perfect," Carmen said. She took Mason and Sophia's hands. Liam held onto her shirt. They walked down the hallway toward the stairs. Carmen could hear the noise from the party below. Voices, music, laughter. She stopped at the top of the stairs. She could see the living room. It was full of people. Derek was standing near the television. Jessica was beside him. They were smiling. Carmen looked down at her children. "Stay close to me, okay?" "Okay, Mommy," Liam whispered. Carmen took a deep breath. Downstairs, someone was turning up the volume on the television. The countdown from Times Square was starting. It was 11:59. The television screen showed Times Square in New York City. Thousands of people crowded together. The giant ball was lit up. The crowd was cheering. In the living room, about 40 people gathered around the television. Carmen's family, her neighbors, old friends, everyone held drinks. Some had champagne glasses. Some had beer bottles. The energy in the room was excited. Derek stood near the television with Jessica. He had his arm around her waist. She was leaning against him. They both held champagne glasses. The golden liquid sparkled in the light. "This is it," Derek said to Jessica. "Our year. Everything's going to be perfect." Jessica smiled up at him. "I love you." "I love you too." On the television, the announcer's voice was loud. 1 minute until midnight. Let's count down together." The crowd in Times Square started chanting, 60, 59, 58. In the living room, people started gathering closer together. Maria stood near Carlos. Roberto and his wife stood by the couch. Lisa and her husband were by the window. Carlos looked around. He noticed Carmen was not in the room. He felt uneasy. He knew his sister. He knew that look she had in her eyes earlier. Something was going to happen. 30 seconds, the announcer shouted. The crowd on the television was going wild. Confetti was ready to drop. The ball was moving down slowly. Carmen stood at the top of the stairs. She could see everything. She could see Derek smiling. She could see Jessica holding his hand. She could see all the guests waiting for midnight. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. Mason squeezed her hand. "Mommy, I'm excited," Mason whispered. "Me too, baby," Carmen said. 20 seconds. Carmen started walking down the stairs, slowly, one step at a time. The children followed her. Mason, Liam, Sophia. Their small feet made soft sounds on the wood. Nobody noticed them yet. Everyone was watching the television. 15 seconds. Carmen reached the bottom of the stairs. She stood in the doorway between the hallway and the living room. The children stood behind her. She put her hand on the doorframe to steady herself. 10! Everyone in the living room shouted together. Carmen's mother, Maria, turned around. She saw Carmen. She saw the children. Her hand went to her mouth. Her eyes went wide. 9. Carlos saw them too. He understood immediately. His face changed. He looked at Derek, then back at Carmen. 8! Derek was still smiling, still holding Jessica. He had no idea what was about to happen. 7! Carmen stepped aside. The children were now visible in the doorway, but most people were still watching the television. 6! Jessica glanced toward the door. She saw Carmen. She waved. Carmen did not wave back. 5! The ball on the television was almost at the bottom. The crowd was screaming. The noise was deafening. 4! Carmen looked at her children. She nodded at them. Go ahead. 3! Mason's face lit up. He loved parties. He started moving forward. 2! Liam and Sophia followed their brother. They walked into the living room. 1! Happy New Year! The television exploded with noise. Confetti fell in Times Square. People were hugging and kissing. Music started playing. The crowd sang Auld Lang Syne. In the living room, people started hugging each other. Someone popped a bottle of champagne. The cork hit the ceiling, and at that exact moment, 3 small children ran into the room. "Mommy!" Mason yelled. "Happy New Year!" "Mommy!" Sophia shouted. Liam was quieter, but he was smiling. He ran toward Carmen with his arms out. Carmen knelt down on the floor. All 3 children crashed into her. She wrapped her arms around them. She hugged them tight. She kissed Mason's head, then Liam's. then Sophia's. "Happy New Year, my babies," she whispered. The room went quiet. The television was still loud. The music was still playing, but nobody in the living room made a sound. Everyone turned to look at the children. At first, they just saw 3 kids in blue pajamas, but then they looked closer. They saw the faces, green eyes. All 3 children had bright green eyes, the same shade, the same shape. Dimples. When Mason smiled, dimples appeared on both cheeks. Deep dimples. Sophia had the same dimples. So did Liam. The nose, the shape of the face, the smile. People started looking from the children to Derek, then back to the children, then to Derek again. Derek had been raising his champagne glass to his lips. He had been about to take a drink, but his hand stopped moving. His arm froze in the air. He stared at the children. His face went pale, very pale. Like all the blood drained out, the champagne glass slipped from his hand. It fell. It hit the hardwood floor. Glass shattered everywhere. The golden liquid splashed. Pieces of glass scattered across the room. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Mason turned around. He saw all the people staring at him. "Hi," he said. He waved. The living room was bright. Every lamp was on. The overhead light was on. Everyone could see the children's faces perfectly. Mason had a small birthmark on the left side of his neck. It was shaped like an oval, light brown, very visible. Derek had the exact same birthmark, in the exact same place. Everyone who knew Derek had seen it 100 times. Liam had thick eyebrows, dark and full, just like Derek's eyebrows. Sophia's smile was identical to Derek's smile. The way her lips curved, the way her whole face lit up. There was no question, no doubt. These children belonged to Derek. Jessica was still holding her champagne glass. She was staring at the children. Her mouth was slightly open. Her face was turning white. All the color was leaving her skin. She looked at Mason, at Liam, at Sophia. She saw Derek's face 3 times, 3 little versions of Derek. Then she turned to look at Derek. "Derek," she said. Her voice was shaking. "Who are these kids?" Derek did not answer. He could not answer. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. He was staring at Carmen. His eyes were wide, shocked, confused, terrified. Maria started crying. Quiet tears ran down her face. She put both hands over her mouth. She had waited for this moment. She had feared it. But now it was happening. Carlos walked across the room. His footsteps were loud in the silence. He came to stand next to Carmen. He looked down at the 3 children. Then he looked at Derek. Carlos put his hand on Mason's shoulder. The little boy looked up at his uncle and smiled. "These are my nephews and my niece," Carlos said. His voice was loud, clear. He wanted everyone to hear. Mason, Liam, and Sophia. They just turned 4 years old last March. The words hung in the air. Everyone heard them. Everyone understood what they meant. 4 years old. Born in March. That was exactly 9 months after Derek left Carmen, which meant Carmen was pregnant when Derek divorced her. Jessica's hands started shaking. Her champagne glass wobbled. Then it fell. More glass shattered on the floor. More champagne splashed. 4 years old? Jessica repeated. Her voice was barely a whisper. She did the math in her head. 4 years ago. Derek left Carmen 3 years ago. The divorce was 3 years ago. That meant these children were born after the divorce, but conceived before. Jessica's face went from white to red, bright red. Her breathing got faster. Her hands were shaking. She looked at Derek. "Derek," she said again. Her voice was getting louder. "Who are these kids?" Derek finally found his voice. I don't... He stopped. He looked at Carmen. Carmen, what is this? Carmen stood up slowly. The children stayed close to her. Mason held her hand. Liam hid behind her leg. Sophia looked at everyone with curious eyes. What do you think this is? Carmen said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Derek shook his head. I don't understand. These kids... They look like you, Carlos finished. The room was completely silent. Someone's phone started ringing, but nobody answered it. The television was still playing music from Times Square, but nobody was paying attention. Jessica was staring at Derek. Her eyes were filling with tears. But they were not sad tears. They were angry tears. You told me she couldn't have kids? Jessica said. Her voice was shaking with rage. You told me Carmen was infertile. You said the doctors told her she could never have children. You said that's why you got divorced. Derek's face got even paler. He looked around the room. Everyone was staring at him, waiting for him to answer Jessica's question. Derek started. His voice cracked. I didn't know, Jessica. I swear, I didn't know about them. You didn't know? Jessica's voice was getting louder. Look at them, Derek. Look at their faces. They have your eyes, your smile, that birthmark. She pointed at Mason. The little boy stepped closer to Carmen. He looked scared. Jessica turned to Carmen. Were you pregnant when he left you? Carmen nodded slowly. Yes. How far along? 8 weeks. Jessica's hand went to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. She looked at Derek with pure hatred. 8 weeks. You left your wife when she was 8 weeks pregnant. I didn't know, Derek said again. His voice was desperate now. Carmen, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say anything? Carmen's face was calm. Her voice was steady. I was going to tell you. I found out the day before you left. I went to the doctor on Monday. He told me I was pregnant, with triplets. I was going to tell you that night. I was going to make your favorite dinner, show you the ultrasound pictures. Derek was shaking his head. Then why didn't you? Because you came home and started packing, Carmen said. You told me I was broken. You said I couldn't give you children. You said I was the reason our marriage failed. You blamed everything on me. The room was completely silent. Everyone was listening. Some people had their phones out. They were recording. Carmen could see the little red lights. You said I wasn't enough, Carmen continued. Her voice was still calm, but there was steel in it. You said you deserved better. So I decided you didn't deserve to know about my children. Our children, Derek whispered. No, Carmen said firmly. My children. I carried them for 9 months. I gave birth to them. I fed them every 3 hours. I changed their diapers. I stayed up with them when they were sick. I taught them to walk, to talk, to read. I did everything. You did nothing. Maria was crying harder now. Carlos put his arm around his mother. Jessica was staring at Derek. Her whole body was shaking. You lied to me. About everything. Jessica, please. Derek reached for her. Jessica stepped back. Don't touch me. You told me she was infertile. You made me feel sorry for you. You said the doctors told Carmen she could never have kids. You said it destroyed your marriage. You said she got depressed, and you had no choice but to leave. I thought it was true, Derek said. But his voice was weak. Nobody believed him. You left your pregnant wife, Jessica said. Each word was sharp. And then you lied about it for 3 years. You let everyone think Carmen was the problem. But you were the problem. You've always been the problem. Derek looked around the room desperately. He was looking for someone to support him, someone to take his side. But everyone was looking at him with disgust, with judgment. Roberto shook his head and walked out of the room. His wife followed him. Lisa was crying. Her husband had his arm around her. Carmen spoke again. I raised them by myself. I worked every single day. I taught 3rd grade while pregnant with triplets. I went back to work when they were 4 months old. My mother quit her job to help me. My brother worked extra shifts and gave me money every month. My friends from church donated clothes and diapers. We did it together. Without you. Without your money. Without your help. Derek was crying now. Tears ran down his face. Carmen, I'm sorry. I didn't know. If I had known. If you had known, what? Carmen interrupted. Would you have stayed? Would you have helped? Or would you have still left and just felt guilty about it? Derek had no answer. These children have a good life, Carmen said. They are loved. They are happy. They have a family. They don't know you. They don't need you. Sophia tugged on Carmen's dress. Mommy, who is that man? Why is he crying? Carmen knelt down. She hugged Sophia. It's okay, baby. Everything's okay. Jessica was still staring at Derek. Her face was red. Her hands were in fists. You're a liar. You lied about your marriage. You lied about Carmen. You lied about everything. I believed you. I defended you when my friends said you moved on too fast. I felt sorry for you. I thought you were a good man who deserved a second chance. I am a good man, Derek said weakly. No, you're not, Jessica said. A good man doesn't abandon his pregnant wife. A good man doesn't lie for 3 years. A good man doesn't let his ex-wife struggle alone while he brags about his perfect life. She grabbed her purse from the couch. She slung it over her shoulder. Jessica, wait, Derek said. He stepped toward her. We can talk about this. We can work through this. There's nothing to work through, Jessica said. Her voice was cold now. Dead. We're done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't come to my house. I never want to see you again. Jessica, please. But Jessica was already walking toward the door. She looked at Carmen as she passed. I'm sorry, Jessica said quietly. I'm sorry he did this to you. I'm sorry I believed his lies. Carmen nodded. She did not say anything. Jessica opened the front door. She walked out. The door closed behind her. Not a slam, just a quiet click. Derek stood in the middle of the living room, alone. Everyone was staring at him. He could feel their eyes. He could hear people whispering. He looked at the children again. Mason was holding Carmen's hand tight. Liam had his face buried in Carmen's leg. Sophia was staring at Derek with those green eyes. His eyes. Derek saw himself 3 times. 3 children he never knew existed. 3 children who had his face, his eyes, his smile. 3 children who were strangers to him. He thought about everything he had missed. Their birth, their first breath, their first cry, their first smile, first laugh, first word, first step. 4 years of firsts. Gone. He could never get those back. Several people in the room had their phones up, recording. Derek knew what this meant. By tomorrow morning, everyone would know. Everyone in their old social circle. Everyone at his work. Everyone would see the video. Everyone would know he was a liar. Carlos stepped forward. He positioned himself between Derek and Carmen, between Derek and the children. I think you need to leave, Carlos said. His voice was firm, not angry, just firm. Derek looked at Carlos. They played basketball together every Saturday. They were friends. Or Derek thought they were friends. Carlos, man, I didn't know. It doesn't matter, Carlos said. You left. You blamed Carmen. You moved on. You got a new girlfriend. You told everyone Carmen was the problem. But she wasn't. She was here, taking care of your children while you were in Scottsdale, living your perfect life. Derek had no response. He looked around the room one more time. Nobody would meet his eyes. He looked at Carmen. Can we talk? Please, just the 2 of us. I need to understand. No, Carmen said. Her voice was quiet but final. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice 3 years ago. You decided I wasn't enough. You decided to leave. I didn't stop you. I built a life without you. These children don't know you as their father. They know my family. They know love. They know stability. You're just a stranger to them. But I'm their father, Derek said. His voice broke. They're my kids. I have rights. Carlos stepped closer to Derek. You abandoned your pregnant wife. You have no rights. If you want to be in their lives, you'll need to go to court. You'll need to pay 4 years of child support. You'll need to prove you're stable. And even then, it's up to Carmen, not you. Derek knew Carlos was right. He had no legal standing. He never paid child support. He never even asked about Carmen. The divorce papers said no children. He signed them. He agreed. Derek looked at the triplets one more time. Mason, Liam, and Sophia. His children. Children who did not know him. He turned and walked to the door. His legs felt heavy. His whole body felt heavy. He opened the door and stepped outside into the cold night air. The door closed behind him. He stood on the porch for a moment. He could hear music starting again inside. People talking quietly. Life moving on without him. Derek walked to his BMW. He opened the door and sat in the driver's seat. But he did not start the car. He just sat there. He put his head in his hands. Inside the house, Carmen walked to the window. She looked out. She could see Derek sitting in his car, not moving, just sitting there with his head down. Carmen watched Derek through the window. He was still in his car. His head was down, his shoulders were shaking. He was crying. She felt nothing. No pity, no sadness, just emptiness. Behind her, the living room was quiet. The television was still on, but someone had muted it. People were standing around, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say. Mason tugged on Carmen's dress. "Mommy, can we have cake now?" Carmen turned away from the window. She looked down at her son. His green eyes were bright, innocent. He had no idea what just happened. None of the children did. Carmen smiled. It was a tired smile. "Yes, baby. Let's get you some cake." She walked to the kitchen. The triplets followed her. Maria was already there. She had been crying, but she wiped her tears quickly. "Mama, can you help me with the cake?" Carmen asked. Maria nodded. She opened the refrigerator and pulled out a large chocolate cake. It had white frosting and said, "Happy New Year" in blue letters. Maria cut 3 big slices. She put them on small paper plates. Carmen set the plates on the kitchen table. The children climbed into their chairs, they picked up their forks and started eating. Chocolate got all over their faces immediately. Sophia looked up at Carmen. "This is good cake, Mommy." "I'm glad you like it, baby." Carmen heard footsteps behind her. She turned. Carlos stood in the doorway. His face looked sad. "Guilty." "Carmen," he said quietly. "I'm sorry. I should not have invited him. I don't know what I thought." Carmen shook her head. "It's okay." "No, it's not okay. I didn't ask you. I didn't think about how it would make you feel. I just thought enough time had passed. I thought everyone should move on." "Maybe it was time," Carmen said. She looked at her children eating cake. "Maybe it was time for the truth to come out anyway. I was tired of hiding, tired of protecting him while I struggled." Carlos walked over and hugged his sister. "You're the strongest person I know." Carmen hugged him back. "I had to be. I had no choice." In the living room, people were starting to leave. They came to the kitchen doorway to say goodbye to Carmen. They hugged her. They told her she was brave. They told her she did the right thing. Lisa came with her husband. Lisa had tears on her face. "Carmen, I'm so proud of you. You're amazing." "Thank you," Carmen said. "If you need anything, call me. Anytime, day or night." "I will." One by one, the guests left. The house got quieter. Some people helped clean up. They picked up empty cups and plates. They threw away napkins and paper decorations. By 12:30 in the morning, only Maria and Carlos remained. They worked together cleaning the living room. Maria swept up the broken glass from the champagne glasses. Carlos picked up the bigger pieces carefully. "Do you think he'll come back?" Maria asked quietly. "I don't know," Carlos said. "Maybe. Probably. Those are his children." "He gave up the right to call them his children when he walked away," Maria said. Her voice was hard. Outside, Derek finally started his car. The engine rumbled to life. Carmen heard it from the kitchen. She looked out the window again. She watched his taillights disappear down the street. He was gone. Really gone this time. Carmen turned back to the children. They had finished their cake. All three had chocolate all over their faces and hands. "Okay, let's get you cleaned up," Carmen said. She took a wet cloth and wiped Mason's face. Then Liam's. Then Sophia's. Their skin was sticky with chocolate and frosting. "Time for bed," Carmen said. "But we just woke up," Mason protested. "I know, but it's very late. Past your bedtime." Carmen picked up Sophia. Liam and Mason followed her upstairs. She took them to the bathroom. She washed their hands and faces with warm water. She helped them brush their teeth. Mason looked at Carmen in the mirror. "Mommy, who was that tall man? The one who was crying?" Carmen's hands stopped moving. She knew this question would come. She just did not know when. "He was someone I used to know," Carmen said carefully. "Why was he crying?" Sophia asked. "He was sad." "Why was he sad?" Mason asked. Carmen did not know how to answer. She chose simple words. "Sometimes grown-ups get sad. It's okay to be sad sometimes." Liam looked up at her. His eyes were serious. "Are you sad, Mommy?" Carmen knelt down. She pulled all three children close. "No, baby, I'm not sad. I have you three. I have Grandma and Uncle Carlos. I have everything I need." She took them to the bedroom. She tucked them into bed. She pulled the covers up to their chins. She kissed each forehead. "I love you," Carmen whispered. "Love you too, Mommy," they said together. Carmen turned on the nightlight. She turned off the main light. She stood in the doorway for a moment, watching them. Mason was already closing his eyes. Liam was hugging his stuffed bear. Sophia was holding her pink blanket. Carmen closed the door softly. She went back downstairs. Maria and Carlos had finished cleaning. The living room looked normal again, like the party never happened, like Derek was never there. But he had been there, and everything had changed. "You should go home," Carmen said to Carlos. "It's late." "Are you sure? I can stay?" "I'm sure. I'm okay." Carlos hugged her again. "Call me tomorrow." "I will." Carlos left. Maria was putting on her coat. "You're leaving too?" Carmen asked. "Only if you want me to. I can stay the night." "No, Mama. Go home. Get some rest. I'm fine." "Really?" Maria looked at her daughter. She touched Carmen's face gently. "You did good tonight, Mija. You protected your children. You told the truth. I'm proud of you." Carmen felt tears in her eyes, but she did not let them fall. Not yet. Maria left. The house was finally quiet. Completely quiet. Carmen walked through the living room. She picked up a few missed pieces of trash. She straightened the pillows on the couch. She turned off the television. She sat down on the couch, alone. The clock on the wall said 12:45 in the morning. It was a new year, January 1st. Carmen thought about the last few hours. Derek walking in, his confident smile, his arm around Jessica, his lies about Carmen, his announcement that he wanted to be a father. Then the countdown, the children running in, the look on Derek's face, the champagne glass shattering, Jessica's screams, Derek's tears. It was done. The secret was out. Everyone knew. Carmen felt exhausted, but she also felt relief. She had been carrying this secret for 4 years. It had been heavy. Now it was lighter. She did not have to hide anymore. She stood up and walked to the window one more time. The street was empty, dark. Derek's car was long gone. Across town, Derek drove through the empty streets of Scottsdale. He pulled into the driveway of his house. It was a big house, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a pool in the back. Everything he wanted. But when he walked inside, it felt empty, cold. Jessica was not there. Her things were gone. She must have come while he was at the party. Her toothbrush was gone from the bathroom. Her clothes were gone from the closet. She left her key on the kitchen counter. Derek walked through the big empty house. He turned on the lights in each room, but the lights did not make it feel less empty. He sat on his leather couch. It was expensive, comfortable. He had been proud of this couch, proud of this house, proud of his car, proud of his job. But what did any of it matter now? He thought about his children, Mason, Liam, Sophia. He tried to remember their faces, the green eyes, the dimples. They looked just like him. He had 3 children. He was a father. He had been a father for 4 years and did not even know it. He thought about everything he missed. Carmen pregnant, alone, scared. He was not there. He did not help. He did not know. Their birth. He was not at the hospital. He did not hold them when they were born. He did not see them take their first breath. Their first year, the sleepless nights, the feedings, the diapers, the first smile, the first laugh. He missed all of it. Learning to walk, learning to talk, first words, first steps, birthdays, holidays. He missed everything. 4 years, gone. He could never get those years back. Derek put his head in his hands. He cried. Real tears, deep sobs. He was alone in his big empty house. Nobody could hear him. Nobody cared. 3 days later, Carmen was at work. It was Wednesday afternoon, January 4th. Her students were working on a reading assignment. The classroom was quiet. There was a knock on the door. Mrs. Henderson opened it and stepped inside. "Carmen, someone is here to deliver something to you. Can you step out for a moment?" "Of course." Carmen told her students to keep working. She walked into the hallway. A man in a uniform stood there holding a clipboard and a large envelope. "Are you Carmen Rodriguez?" "Yes." "I have a certified letter for you. I need you to sign here." Carmen took the pen. She signed the paper. The man handed her the envelope, then he left. Carmen looked at the envelope. It was thick, official-looking. Her name and address were typed on the front. In the upper left corner was the return address. Lawson and Finch Legal Services, Scottsdale, Arizona. Carmen's heart started beating faster. She knew what this was. Carmen stood in the hallway holding the envelope. Her hands were shaking. She walked to the teacher's lounge. It was empty. Everyone was in their classrooms teaching. She sat down at the table. She opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a thick stack of papers. Official legal papers. She pulled them out and started reading. The first page had bold letters at the top. Petition for establishment of paternity and parental rights. Carmen's breath caught in her throat. She kept reading. The words were legal and complicated, but the meaning was clear. Derek Walker was seeking parental rights to Mason Daniel Walker, Liam James Walker, and Sophia Marie Walker. He was requesting a court-ordered paternity test. He was requesting visitation rights. He wanted to be part of their lives. Carmen put the papers down on the table. She felt anger rising in her chest. After 3 years of silence, now he wanted to be a father? After walking away, after lying, after building his perfect life without them, now he wanted rights. She picked up her phone. Her hands were still shaking. She called Carlos. He answered after 2 rings. "Hey, what's up?" "Derek sent me legal papers," Carmen said. Her voice was tight. "He's seeking parental rights." Carlos was quiet for a moment. "When did you get them?" "Just now. Someone delivered them to the school." "What do they say?" "He wants a paternity test. He wants visitation. He wants to be their father." "That bastard," Carlos said. His voice was angry. "Carmen, you need to get a lawyer, right now. Don't wait." "I don't know any lawyers." "I do. Sarah Mitchell. She handles family law. She's tough, really tough. I'll text you her number. Call her today." "Okay. Do you want me to come over tonight?" "No, I'm okay. I just needed to hear your voice." "Call Sarah. Promise me." "I promise." Carmen hung up. A few seconds later, her phone buzzed. Carlos had sent her a phone number and a name. Sarah Mitchell, family law attorney. Carmen called the number. A woman answered. "Mitchell Law Office." "Hi, my name is Carmen Rodriguez. My brother Carlos gave me this number. I need to speak with Sarah Mitchell about a family law case." "Is this regarding custody or visitation?" "Yes." "Hold on one moment." Carmen waited. She could hear papers shuffling. Voices in the background, then a new voice came on. Older. Strong. "This is Sarah Mitchell." "Miss Mitchell, my name is Carmen Rodriguez. I just received legal papers from my ex-husband. He's seeking parental rights to our children. I need help." "How old are the children?" 4 years old, triplets. "And how long has your ex-husband been out of their lives?" "He's never been in their lives. He left me 3 years ago. He didn't know I was pregnant. I never told him, but he found out a few days ago. Now he wants rights." Sarah was quiet for a moment. "That's an interesting situation. Can you come to my office tomorrow?" "I work during the day. I'm a teacher." "Can you come after school? Say 4 o'clock?" "Yes. Where is your office?" Sarah gave her the address. Downtown Phoenix. Carmen wrote it down. "Bring all the legal papers with you," Sarah said. "And any documentation you have, birth certificates, proof of expenses, anything showing you've been the sole provider." "Okay, I will. Try not to worry too much tonight. We'll handle this." Carmen hung up. She looked at the clock. She had been gone from her classroom for 10 minutes. She gathered the legal papers and put them back in the envelope. She walked back to her classroom. Her students were still working quietly. They looked up when she entered. "Everything okay, Mrs. Rodriguez?" one girl asked. Carmen smiled. "Everything's fine. Keep working." But everything was not fine. The next day, Carmen left school at 3:30. She drove downtown to Sarah Mitchell's office. It was in a tall building with glass windows. Carmen took the elevator to the 5th floor. The office was small but clean. The walls were white. There were chairs in the waiting area. A young woman sat at the front desk. "I'm Carmen Rodriguez. I have an appointment with Sarah Mitchell." "She's expecting you. Go right in." The woman pointed to a door. Carmen knocked. "Come in," a voice said. Carmen opened the door. Sarah Mitchell sat behind a desk. She was in her 50s with gray hair pulled back in a bun. She wore glasses. She had kind eyes, but a strong face. "Carmen, please sit down." Carmen sat in the chair across from the desk. She handed Sarah the envelope with the legal papers. Sarah pulled them out. She read them silently. Her face showed nothing. After a few minutes, she looked up. Okay, let me explain your situation. Derek is the biological father. That means he does have legal rights. However, you have significant leverage. What kind of leverage? You raised these children alone for 4 years. You paid for everything. You provided stability. Derek never paid child support. He was not involved in any way. A judge will take all of that into account. So what happens now? First, Derek will request a paternity test. You cannot legally refuse. The test will confirm he's the father. We already know that, but it has to be official. Carmen nodded. Second, once paternity is established, Derek will have the right to request visitation. But we can set strict conditions, supervised visits only, at a neutral location, with a social worker present. For how long? That depends. If Derek shows he's stable and consistent, eventually the visits could become unsupervised. But that would take time, months, maybe longer. What about child support? Sarah smiled. It was not a warm smile, it was a sharp smile. Oh, yes, child support. Derek owes you 4 years of back child support. That's going to be a significant amount. We'll make sure he pays every cent. How much? That depends on his income, but we're probably looking at $60,000 to $70,000, maybe more. Carmen's eyes went wide. That much? He abandoned his children. He has to pay for that, literally. Over the next 2 weeks, lawyers sent papers back and forth. Derek requested a paternity test. Carmen agreed. They went to a clinic. A nurse swabbed the inside of Mason's, Liam's, and Sophia's cheeks. Then she swabbed Derek's cheek. Derek stood across the room watching Carmen with the children. He wanted to talk to her, but Sarah had told Carmen not to speak to Derek without her lawyer present. The results came back 1 week later. Derek Walker was confirmed as the biological father of Mason, Liam, and Sophia. Nobody was surprised. Derek's lawyer sent a new proposal. Derek wanted to meet the children. He wanted supervised visits. He wanted to start building a relationship. Sarah called Carmen. They're proposing 1 supervised visit per week at a family counseling center. A social worker will be present. You can agree or we can fight it in court. But honestly, a judge will likely order the same thing. So I have no choice? You have a choice. But fighting it will cost money and time. And you'll probably lose. Carmen was quiet. She thought about her children. They were happy. They were stable. Would seeing Derek hurt them? What do you think I should do? Carmen asked. I think you agree to 1 visit. See how it goes. If Derek is inconsistent, or if it's harmful to the children, we document that and use it later. Okay, 1 visit. The visit was scheduled for Saturday, January 21st, 10 o'clock in the morning, at the Children and Family Center on Camelback Road. That Saturday morning, Carmen woke up nervous. Her stomach hurt. She made breakfast for the triplets, but could barely eat herself. She dressed the children in clean clothes, jeans and sweaters. She brushed their hair. Mason asked where they were going. We're going to meet someone special, Carmen said. Who? Sophia asked. You'll see when we get there. Carmen drove to the counseling center. It was a bright building painted yellow. There was a playground outside. Inside, the walls were covered with children's drawings. A woman met them at the door. She was in her 40s with short brown hair. She wore casual clothes and a friendly smile. Hi, I'm Linda Grant. I'm the social worker who will be supervising today's visit. I'm Carmen. These are Mason, Liam, and Sophia. Linda knelt down. Hi, guys. We have lots of toys in the playroom. Do you like toys? All 3 children nodded. He's already here, Linda said quietly to Carmen. Are you ready? Carmen took a deep breath. Yes. Linda led them down a hallway. She opened a door to a large room. There were toys everywhere. Blocks, books, dolls, a small slide, coloring supplies. And standing in the middle of the room was Derek. Carmen had not seen him since New Year's Eve. He looked different, thinner. He had dark circles under his eyes. He looked tired, nervous. The triplets walked into the room. They saw Derek and stopped. They moved closer to Carmen. Derek knelt down. He tried to smile. "Hi." The children said nothing. "My name is Derek." Sophia stared at him. She tilted her head. "You have the same eyes as me." Derek's face broke into a real smile. Yes, I do." Derek was still kneeling on the floor. He looked at Sophia. She had his green eyes, his dimples, his smile. But she was a stranger to him. "Do you want to play with some toys?" Derek asked. His voice was soft, nervous. Sophia looked back at Carmen. Carmen nodded. "It's okay, baby. You can play." Sophia walked slowly to a box of blocks. She sat down on the floor and started building. Mason followed her. He was braver than his sister. He sat down next to the blocks. Liam stayed close to Carmen. He held her hand tight. He was the shy one, the sensitive one. Derek moved closer to Sophia and Mason. He sat on the floor with them. "What are you building?" "A tower," Mason said. He stacked one block on top of another. "That's a great tower. Can I help?" Mason shrugged. "Okay." Derek picked up a blue block. His hands were shaking slightly. He added it to the tower. Mason added a red block. Sophia added a yellow one. The tower got taller. Then Mason knocked it down. The blocks scattered across the floor. Mason laughed. Derek smiled, but it was an awkward smile. He did not know what to do. He did not know how to play with 4-year-olds. Carmen sat in a chair in the corner of the room. Linda Grant sat in another chair nearby. She had a notebook. She was watching everything, taking notes. "What's your name?" Mason asked Derek. "My name is Derek." "How old are you?" "I'm 34. "That's old," Mason said. Derek laughed. It was a real laugh this time. "Yeah, I guess it is." "I'm 4, Mason said proudly. "So is Liam. So is Sophia. We're all 4. "I know, you're triplets." "What's triplets?" "It means you were all born on the same day." "Oh." Mason thought about this. Then he picked up a toy dinosaur. "Do you like dinosaurs?" "I do. What kind is that?" "A T-Rex. He's the biggest and the strongest, and he eats meat." Mason made the dinosaur walk across the floor. He made roaring sounds. Sophia picked up another dinosaur, a smaller one. "This is a baby," Sophia said. "The baby is lost. He can't find his mommy." Derek's smile faded a little. He looked at Carmen. She was watching. Her face showed nothing. "Maybe the mommy will find him," Derek said quietly. "Yeah," Sophia said. "The mommy always finds the baby." They played with the dinosaurs for a few minutes. Then Mason got bored. He jumped up and ran to the slide. It was a small plastic slide for little kids. Mason climbed up and slid down. He did it again and again. Derek watched him. He has a lot of energy. "He never stops moving," Carmen said. It was the first time she had spoken since they arrived. Derek looked at her. "Was I like that when I was a kid?" "I don't know. I didn't know you when you were a kid." The words were cold. True. Derek looked away. Liam was still standing next to Carmen. He had not moved. He was holding her hand. His eyes were watching Derek, but he would not go near him. "What about him?" Derek asked. "Is he always quiet?" "Liam is sensitive. He needs time to trust people." Derek nodded. He understood what she was not saying. Liam did not trust him. None of the children did. He was a stranger. Derek stood up. He walked over to a shelf with books. He picked one up. "Do you guys like stories?" "Yes," Mason yelled from the slide. "Come sit down and I'll read to you." Mason ran over. He plopped down on the floor. Sophia followed. She sat next to her brother, but Liam stayed with Carmen. Derek opened the book. It was about a bear who lost his hat. Derek started reading. His voice was uncertain at first, but as he read, he got more comfortable. He made different voices for the different animals. Mason laughed. When the story ended, Mason said, "Read another one." "Okay." Derek picked up a different book. This one was about a caterpillar who ate too much. Derek read it. Mason and Sophia listened. They liked the pictures. Liam was still standing with Carmen, but he was watching, listening. Slowly, he moved a little closer. Just a little. Derek noticed. He did not say anything. He just kept reading. After the second book, Sophia asked, "Do you have kids?" The room went very quiet. Derek did not know what to say. He looked at Linda, then at Carmen. Carmen's face was still blank. "Yes," Derek said slowly. "I have 3 kids." "How old are they?" Sophia asked. "They're 4, just like you." "Oh." Sophia went back to playing with the blocks. She did not understand. Derek felt his chest tighten. These were his kids, but they did not know him. They did not know he was their father. The visit lasted 1 hour. Linda stood up at exactly 11 o'clock. "Okay, guys, time to go." "Already?" Mason asked. "But I want to play more." "You can come back another time," Linda said gently. Carmen stood up. She held out her hands. "Come on, babies. Time to go." Mason ran to her. Sophia followed. Liam had not left her side anyway. Derek stood up slowly. He looked at the children. "It was nice to meet you." "Bye," Mason said. He waved. Sophia waved too. Liam said nothing. Carmen walked to the door. The children followed her. Derek watched them leave. He wanted to say something, but he did not know what. Linda stayed in the room with Derek after Carmen and the children left. She closed her notebook. "That went well," Linda said. "Did it?" Derek asked. His voice was sad. "For a first visit, yes. The children were comfortable. 2 of them engaged with you. 1 will take more time." "They don't know me." "No, they don't. But you can build that. It takes time." Derek sat down in one of the small chairs. He put his head in his hands. "I missed everything. 4 years. Gone." "You can't get those years back," Linda said gently. "But you can be there for the years ahead. If you choose to be." Derek looked up at her. "I want to be. I want to be their father." "Then show up. Be consistent. Be patient. Children need stability. They need to know you'll be there." Derek nodded. In the car, Carmen buckled the triplets into their car seats. She started the engine. She was quiet. The children were talking to each other in the back. "That man was nice," Mason said. "He had the same eyes as us," Sophia said. Carmen looked at them in the rearview mirror. She drove out of the parking lot. She headed toward home. After a few minutes, Sophia asked, "Mommy, is that man our daddy?" Carmen's hands tightened on the steering wheel. She had been waiting for this question. She knew it would come eventually. She pulled the car over to the side of the road. She turned off the engine. She turned around in her seat to look at the children. All 3 were looking at her with their green eyes, waiting. Carmen took a deep breath. "Yes, that man is your daddy." Mason's eyes got big. "Really?" "Yes." "Why doesn't he live with us?" Mason asked. Carmen chose her words carefully. "Your daddy and I were not together anymore before you were born. He lived somewhere else, far away. But now he wants to meet you." Liam looked scared. "Do we have to leave you and go live with him?" "No," Carmen said quickly. "No, baby, never. You will always live with me. Always." "Promise?" Liam whispered. "I promise." Sophia was quiet. Then she asked, "Why did he leave?" That was the hardest question. Carmen did not know how to answer it. She could not tell 4-year-old children the truth. She could not tell them their father abandoned them. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes," Carmen said softly. "But you are not a mistake. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. I love you more than anything in the world." The children seemed satisfied with that answer. Mason started talking about the dinosaurs again. Sophia asked if they could have pizza for lunch. Carmen started the car again. She drove home, but her mind was spinning. The visits continued. Every Saturday at 10 o'clock. Derek showed up every time. He was consistent. Each visit, he got a little less awkward. He learned what the children liked. Mason liked dinosaurs and climbing. Derek brought toy dinosaurs. He let Mason climb on him. Liam liked drawing and books. Derek brought coloring books and crayons. He read stories with different voices. Sophia liked building blocks and puzzles. Derek sat on the floor and built with her. After 4 visits, the children started calling him by his name. "Derek, look at this." "Derek, read this book." They did not call him Daddy, just Derek. That hurt him, but he understood. He was not their daddy. Not yet. Maybe not ever. He had to earn that. Meanwhile, the lawyers continued negotiating. Sarah Mitchell was tough. She pushed hard. Derek's lawyer pushed back. But finally, they reached an agreement. Derek would pay 4 years of back child support. The total came to $63,000. He would also pay $800 per month going forward. In return, Carmen agreed to regular visitation. 1 visit per week, supervised, for the next 6 months. After 6 months, if Derek remained consistent, the visits could become unsupervised. Derek signed the papers. The money appeared in Carmen's bank account 2 days later. $63,000. Carmen stared at the number on her phone. It was more money than she had ever had at one time. It did not erase the pain. It did not erase the fear and exhaustion of the last 4 years. But it helped. She put half in a savings account for the children's future. For college. For whatever they needed. The other half she used to pay off debt and fix things in her house. 6 months passed. Derek showed up to every single visit. He never missed one. He never canceled. He was there. The children got more comfortable with him. They smiled when they saw him. They ran to show him things. Liam even started holding his hand sometimes. Linda wrote a report. She said the visits were going well. She recommended unsupervised visitation. In June, Derek picked up the children by himself for the first time. No social worker, just him. Carmen stood on the driveway watching him buckle the triplets into car seats. Her heart was pounding. She felt like she could not breathe. "I'll have them back in 3 hours," Derek said. Carmen nodded. She could not speak. Derek got in his car. He drove away. Carmen watched the car disappear down the street. Then she went inside her empty house. For the first time in 4 years, her children were not with her. They were with Derek. She sat on the couch. And she cried. Carmen sat on the couch crying for 10 minutes. Then she wiped her eyes. She looked around the empty house. The silence felt strange. Wrong. For 4 years, there had always been noise. Children talking, laughing, fighting, running. Now there was nothing. She stood up. She did not know what to do with herself. She walked to the kitchen. She opened the refrigerator. She was not hungry. She closed it. She picked up her phone. She looked at the time. Only 20 minutes had passed. Derek said he would have them back in 3 hours. That meant 2 hours and 40 minutes left. Carmen paced the living room. She looked at the clock. 2 more minutes had passed. This was going to be the longest 3 hours of her life. She called Maria. Her mother answered after 1 ring. Mija, are you okay? He took them, Mama. Derek picked them up. They're gone. Where did he take them? To a park. And then for ice cream. That's what he said. They'll be fine. Derek has been consistent. He's been showing up. I know. But I'm scared. What if something happens? What if he doesn't bring them back? He will bring them back. He has to. It's in the legal agreement. Carmen knew her mother was right, but knowing did not make the fear go away. What should I do? Carmen asked. I don't know what to do with myself. Come over. I'll make you lunch. We'll keep you busy. Okay. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Carmen drove to her mother's house. Maria lived in a small house in South Phoenix, the house where Carmen grew up. Maria was waiting on the front porch. Carmen got out of the car. Maria hugged her immediately. They're okay, Maria said. You raised good children, strong children. They'll be fine. They went inside. Maria made sandwiches. Carmen sat at the kitchen table, the same table where she ate breakfast as a child. Everything looked the same. The white cabinets, the yellow curtains, the clock on the wall shaped like a rooster. How do you feel? Maria asked. Empty. Scared. Angry. Angry? Yes. Angry that I have to share them now. Angry that Derek gets to swoop in after 4 years and play dad. Angry that he missed all the hard parts and only gets the fun parts now. Maria sat down across from her. That's normal, Mija. Those feelings are normal. Is it going to get easier? Yes, with time. They ate lunch. They talked. Maria distracted Carmen with stories about the neighbors, about church, about anything and everything. Finally, after what felt like forever, 3 hours passed. Carmen drove home quickly. She pulled into her driveway just as Derek's car was pulling up. Carmen got out. She tried to look calm, but her heart was racing. Derek opened the back doors. The triplets climbed out. They were smiling, laughing. Mason's face was sticky with ice cream. Sophia's shirt had a chocolate stain. Liam was holding a balloon. Mommy! All three yelled. They ran to her. Carmen knelt down and hugged them all at once. Did you have fun? Yes, Mason said. We went on the swings, really high. And I went down the big slide, Sophia said. The really big one. Derek bought us ice cream, Liam said quietly. Chocolate. I can see that, Carmen said. She looked at their messy faces. Derek walked over. He looked nervous. Everything went fine. They were great. Really great. Good. Can I do this again next week? Same time? Carmen looked at her children. They looked happy, safe, healthy. She took a deep breath. Yes, same time next week. Derek smiled. It was a real smile. A grateful smile. Thank you, Carmen. He got in his car and drove away. Carmen took the children inside. She gave them baths. She washed off the ice cream and dirt from the playground. That night, after the children were asleep, Carmen realized something. This was her life now. This was the new normal. Derek was part of their lives. He was going to be there every week. She had to accept it. The weeks turned into months. Summer arrived. Derek continued picking up the children every Saturday. He took them to parks, to the zoo, to the library. He bought them toys and books. The children started talking about Derek more. Derek taught me how to throw a ball. Derek has a big pool at his house. Derek makes funny pancakes. Carmen listened. She smiled. She tried not to feel jealous, but she did feel jealous. She felt like she was losing them, even though she knew she was not. In July, Derek mentioned someone new. He was dropping the children off after a visit. Mason was talking about their day. Miss Rachel made us sandwiches, Mason said, with no crust. She cut them into triangles. Carmen's head snapped up. Who's Miss Rachel? Mason kept talking. Derek's friend. She's nice. She has yellow hair. Carmen looked at Derek. He looked uncomfortable. Rachel is... She's someone I've been seeing. I should have mentioned it earlier. Does she spend time with my children? Sometimes. She's a teacher. She's good with kids. I thought, you need to tell me these things, Derek, before you introduce them to someone new. You're right. I'm sorry. I'll tell you next time. Carmen took the children inside. She was upset. But what could she do? Derek had a life. He had the right to date. As long as the children were safe, she could not control who they met. That night, Carmen looked at Derek's social media. She had not checked it in months, maybe longer. She typed his name into the search bar on her phone. His profile appeared. The profile picture was recent. Derek smiling in front of his pool. Carmen scrolled through his posts. There were pictures of him with the triplets. At the park, at the zoo, Mason on his shoulders, Sophia on the slide. Liam holding Derek's hand. Then Carmen saw a post from 2 days ago. It was a picture of Derek with a woman. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, a bright smile. She was pretty, young, maybe 30 years old. The caption said, "She said yes, I'm the luckiest man in the world." Carmen stared at the picture. The woman was wearing a ring, an engagement ring. Derek was engaged. Carmen put her phone down. She felt strange, not sad, not angry, just strange. Derek was moving on with his life. He had someone new. He was getting married again. And Carmen was still alone. 8 months had passed since New Year's Eve. 8 months since the truth came out. Life had settled into a routine. Derek picked up the children every Saturday. He brought them home Sunday evening. The children had their own rooms at Derek's house in Scottsdale. They had toys there, clothes there. They called it Daddy's house now. Yes, they finally called him Daddy. It happened in August. Mason started it. Then Sophia. Then Liam. Derek cried when he heard it. He called Carmen to tell her. His voice was shaking with emotion. Carmen said congratulations. But inside she felt something crack. Her children had a father now. A real father. Not just Derek. Daddy. September arrived. The triplets started pre-kindergarten. It was their last year before real school. Carmen took them shopping for backpacks and supplies. Mason picked a dinosaur backpack. Liam picked a blue one with stars. Sophia picked a purple one with flowers. On the first day of school, both Carmen and Derek showed up. They stood together taking pictures. Other parents looked at them, whispered. Everyone in their community knew the story by now. The wife who hid the triplets. The husband who found out years later. But Carmen did not care anymore. She held Mason's hand. Derek held Sophia's. Liam held on to both of them. They walked the children to their classroom together, like a family. A strange, broken, complicated family, but a family. At work, Mrs. Henderson called Carmen into her office one afternoon in late September. "Carmen, please sit down." Carmen sat. She felt nervous. Was something wrong? Mrs. Henderson smiled. "I have a question for you. How would you feel about becoming assistant principal?" Carmen's eyes went wide. "Assistant principal?" "Yes. Mr. Garcia is retiring in December. I need someone strong, someone organized, someone who cares about children. That's you." I don't know what to say." "Say yes. The job comes with a raise, $15,000 more per year. And you'd still work with students, but you'd also help with administration." Carmen thought about it. More money meant more stability for her children, more savings, less stress. "Yes," Carmen said, "I'll do it." "Mrs." Henderson stood up and shook Carmen's hand. "Congratulations. You've earned this." Carmen left the office feeling proud. She called Carlos immediately. "I got a promotion," she said. "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." "I can't believe it. Assistant principal. Me." "You deserve it, Carmen. You've worked so hard. You've been through so much. You deserve something good." That evening, Carmen told the triplets at dinner. They did not fully understand what assistant principal meant, but they knew Mommy was happy. That made them happy too. Maria came over to celebrate. She brought a cake. They sang. The children blew out candles. It felt good, like things were finally getting better. On Saturday, Derek picked up the children as usual. But when he brought them home Sunday evening, Sophia said something that made Carmen's heart stop. "Mommy, is Miss Rachel going to be our new mommy?" Carmen knelt down in front of Sophia. She looked into her daughter's green eyes. "No, baby. Miss Rachel is not going to be your new mommy. You only have one mommy. Me. That will never change." Sophia looked confused. "But Mason said Derek is getting married to Miss Rachel. Don't married people become a mommy and daddy?" Carmen glanced at Derek. He was standing in the doorway. He looked uncomfortable. "Miss Rachel will be Derek's wife," Carmen explained carefully. "That means she'll be part of your family at Daddy's house. But she won't replace me. Nobody can replace me. I'm your mommy forever." "Okay," Sophia said. She seemed satisfied with that answer. And she ran off to play with her brothers. Derek walked closer. "Carmen, I was going to tell you about the engagement. I should have told you sooner." "Yes, you should have. Rachel is a good person. She's a second-grade teacher. She loves kids. She's been really patient with Mason, Liam, and Sophia. That's good. They need good people around them." "Are you angry?" Carmen thought about it. Was she angry? She felt many things: jealousy, sadness, confusion, but also relief. Derek was building his own life. That meant he would stop trying to take hers. "No," Carmen said finally. "I'm not angry, but you need to communicate with me. These are my children. When big changes happen in your life, I need to know." "You're right. I will. I promise." Derek left. Carmen closed the door. She leaned against it. She took a deep breath. The months continued to pass. October came. Halloween arrived. The triplets dressed up in costumes. Mason was a dinosaur. Liam was a wizard. Sophia was a superhero. They went trick-or-treating with Carmen, Maria, and Carlos. Derek wanted them on Halloween night too, but Carmen said no. Some holidays were hers. November brought Thanksgiving. This year, they had 2 Thanksgivings. Thursday with Carmen, Maria, and Carlos. Friday with Derek and Rachel. The children did not understand why they had to celebrate twice, but they were happy. They got 2 dinners, 2 desserts, 2 chances to be together with people who loved them. December arrived. The holidays came fast. Carmen bought presents for the children. She wrapped them carefully. She put them under the tree in the living room. On December 23rd, Derek brought the children home after his weekend visit. He walked them to the door. Rachel was with him. It was the first time Carmen had seen her in person. Rachel was pretty, young. She had kind eyes. She smiled nervously at Carmen. "Hi," Rachel said. "I'm Rachel. It's nice to finally meet you." Carmen shook her hand. "Nice to meet you too. Your children are wonderful, really wonderful. You've done an amazing job with them." Carmen nodded. "Thank you." There was an awkward silence. Then Rachel said, "I just want you to know I'm not trying to replace you. I know you're their mother. I'm just trying to be a good friend to them." Carmen looked at this woman. This woman who would marry Derek. This woman who would be part of her children's lives. She seemed genuine, Honest. Thank you for saying that, Carmen said. I appreciate it, Aunt. Derek and Rachel left. Carmen closed the door. She realized something. Rachel was not the enemy. Derek was not the enemy anymore either. They were all just trying to do their best, trying to give the children a good life. Christmas morning came. The triplets woke up early. They ran downstairs and saw presents under the tree. They screamed with excitement. They tore open the wrapping paper. They found toys and books and clothes. Maria and Carlos came over for breakfast. They ate pancakes and bacon. They drank hot chocolate. They watched the children play with their new toys. Later that afternoon, Derek picked up the children. They would spend Christmas evening at his house with Rachel. Carmen watched them drive away. It was easier this time. Not easy, but easier. Carmen spent Christmas evening with her mother and brother. They played cards. They ate leftovers. They watched old movies. It was quiet, peaceful. That night, alone in her bed, Carmen thought about the past year. Everything that had changed. Everything she had survived. 1 year ago, Derek did not know the triplets existed. 1 year ago, Carmen was hiding, protecting her secret, protecting her children, protecting herself. Now, everyone knew. The truth was out, and somehow life continued. Different, complicated, but continuing. January arrived, a new year. The triplets turned 5 years old. They had a birthday party at Carmen's house. Derek came. Rachel came. Maria and Carlos were there. Carmen's friends from work. The children's friends from school. The house was full of people. Full of noise. Full of life. Carmen watched Derek blow up balloons with Mason. She watched Rachel help Sophia open presents. She watched Liam sitting on Carlos's lap eating cake. Her children were happy. That was all that mattered. In February, Carmen started her new job as assistant principal. It was harder than teaching. More responsibility, more meetings, more paperwork, but also more rewarding. She helped make decisions for the whole school. She helped teachers. She helped families. Her paycheck was bigger now. She had more money in savings. She was stable, secure, independent. In March, Carmen went out with her friend Lisa. Just the two of them, to dinner and a movie. It was the first time Carmen had done something social in years. She felt nervous at first, but then she relaxed. She laughed. She remembered what it felt like to just be Carmen. Not mommy, not ex-wife, just Carmen. You should start dating, Lisa said over dinner. Carmen shook her head. I don't have time. You have more time now. Derek takes the kids every weekend. You could meet someone, have fun. I'm not ready. Okay, but when you are ready, tell me. I know some nice guys. Carmen smiled. I will. She was not ready. Maybe she would never be ready, but that was okay. She did not need a man to be happy. She had her children, her family, her career, herself. April came. May, June. Life continued in its new rhythm. The children finished pre-kindergarten. They would start real kindergarten in the fall. They were growing so fast, getting taller, smarter, more independent. One Saturday in July, Derek picked up the children. Before he left, he asked Carmen if they could talk. They sat on the front porch. The sun was setting. The air was warm. I wanted to thank you, Derek said. For what? For giving me a chance. For letting me be part of their lives. I know I don't deserve it. I know I messed up. I walked away. I hurt you. But you let me back in anyway. Carmen looked at him. This man who had broken her heart. This man who had abandoned her when she needed him most. She had hated him once. Now she felt nothing. No hate, no love, just acceptance. I didn't do it for you, Carmen said quietly. I did it for them. They deserve to know their father, even if their father didn't deserve to know them. Derek nodded. I understand. But still, thank you. Are you happy? Carmen asked. With Rachel, with your life. I am. Rachel is good for me. She makes me want to be better. That's good. You should be better. For them. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Derek said, What about you? Are you happy? Carmen thought about it. Was she happy? She was tired, busy, sometimes overwhelmed. But yes, she was happy. I am, Carmen said. I have everything I need. Do you ever think about dating? Meeting someone? Maybe someday. But not now. Right now I'm focused on my children and my career. You're doing an amazing job. With everything. The kids are lucky to have you. They're lucky to have all of us. Me, you, Rachel, my family. It takes a village? Derek smiled. Yeah, it does. That evening, after Derek left with the children, Carmen sat on her porch watching the sunset. Sky turned pink, then orange, then purple. Stars started appearing. She thought about everything she had been through. The pain of Derek leaving. The fear of being pregnant and alone. The exhaustion of raising triplets by herself. The terror of that New Year's Eve party when she revealed the truth. But she also thought about the good parts. The first time she held her babies. Watching them take their first steps. Hearing them say their first words. Every laugh, every hug, every I love you, Mommy. She had given them everything. Love, stability, strength. She had shown them that family was not about who stayed, but about who showed up every single day. And she showed up every single day. Through the hard times and the good times, she was there. Derek missed the most important years, the first 4 years. He could never get those back. That was his loss, his regret to carry. But Carmen had those years, those memories, those moments. Nobody could take that away from her. The truth had come out. Derek knew about his children now. He was trying to be a good father. That was good for Mason, Liam, and Sophia. But Carmen had already won. She had survived. She had built a beautiful life from nothing. She had proved she was strong enough, brave enough, enough. She did not need Derek. She never did. She had herself. And that was more than enough. Carmen stood up from the porch. She went inside her house. Tomorrow the children would come home. They would run to her with stories about their weekend. They would hug her. They would call her Mommy, because that was who she was. Their mother. The woman who never left. The woman who fought for them every single day. Carmen Rodriguez was 33 years old, a single mother, an assistant principal, a survivor, and she was finally free. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Don't waste time. Just click on the screen